Hi, Hannah. Thatcher's sleeping right now, so I thought I'd just go ahead and make a video in case he wakes up and isn't happy when you give a call. But if you have questions, feel free to call or text or write me or anything. But I just thought I would kind of quickly tell you what we've done and yeah, let you know. So we started when Dalton was 6. He was diagnosed with ADHD. That wasn't a surprise to us. We just kind of, since he was 2, we just noticed some different things in his behavior that just didn't seem quite right. Even though he was our first, I'm like, there's just something that's different. And so when he was 6, you have to wait till they're 6, but he was diagnosed at 6 officially. And then we kind of started this whole journey. We did do medication first for 3 years, 4 years, and just honestly never found something that worked well. I know some people who have, but we just didn't. Either it was too much for his body or it was too little, and we couldn't find anything that worked. And that was a long and exhausting process. So finally, I was like, we got to do something else. And when he was diagnosed, we also started this thing. Casey Gibbons had taken Bria to this lady. I think her and her husband, I honestly cannot remember her name right now, but her and her husband were RDs when I first came to Evangel. Don't remember what hall. So I kind of just knew of her. But anyway, we went to her. She was getting her doctorate in natural medicine. But she did this thing called brain integration therapy, which we saw incredible results from. And it's kind of crazy and weird, but it worked for us. But also part of her program that you pay for was the food testing. We did a DNA sample, and when it first came back, it did 3 pages of foods that Dalton was sensitive to. I mean, everything. Not only food, but also environmental things. And it was like insane and overwhelming. And I'm like, no wonder his behavior is crazy, because he can't eat anything, and everything we're feeding him is just not working for him. And the doctor, she explained it to me like, foods that we're sensitive to or have some sort of reaction to cause inflammation. That's what causes the reaction. Inflammation in your brain, which isn't great, because inflammation in the brain can lead to brain damage, and that's just not good. And so I was like, oh, so this really is kind of a big deal. And then it started to make sense. And we started to notice things like dairy would make him super emotional, just different things. And so we were a bit overwhelmed at first. So then we did, I think it was 3 months, we did a candida cleanse to cleanse his body of the yeast, really try to work and heal his gut. And then we retested. And when we retested, the amount of things he was actually sensitive or allergic to was much smaller. So there's gluten, dairy, corn, food dyes, and we just avoid processed sugars for the most part. So those were the things that he really was allergic to. So from 3 pages to that. So why it jumped that much is because when your body is kind of in a heightened sense of reacting, just unhealthiness in your gut and everything, it reacts to everything. It can't determine what is good, what is bad, what's not. So it just reacts to everything. So he was just in a constant state of reaction. When we healed his gut, when we really found out what he was sensitive to, the difference was like night and day. And anytime he had something he was sensitive to, you would notice within 15 minutes. It was like a switch in his personality. It was insane to watch it happen in front of you, which is also encouraging, because then you see all this hard work you're doing is worth it. So that was the first thing we did. We did the cleanse, and then we retested, and we found out really what he was sensitive to. Another thing I recommend, which we didn't hear about or really kind of understand until much later, was chiropractic work. I went to this seminar from Thrive Chiropractic, and they just talked about, parents often come to us with kids with behavior issues or emotional issues that have tried everything. They're doing diet, they have a structure, they do all these things, they're trying everything they can, but there's something missing. And that's kind of where I felt. I'm like, there's something missing that I'm not getting, and I don't know what it is. And he talked about, the importance of your body functioning well, and chiropractic work in the making your body able to function well, and all the messages to process the way they should. get to the brain in the way that they should. And I was like, this is what we've been missing. So we went for a consult, and he does a scan and testing, shows you where like there's issues in your body, and so that's what he focuses on. And I was like, this is what we need. Unfortunately, our insurance doesn't cover that, which is common, but it did cover another chiropractor, so we went there just for general chiropractic work, and we did see improvements and some really kind of big things we were looking for. So I recommend that. I have tons of friends who go to Thrive, and I really actually do want to go back just because I love that they focus on what his body needs, or they really only do kids and moms. So I love that they focus on that. So I want to go back to them, but it's pricey and out of pocket. So, but worth it. I will say totally worth it. And you would know a lot of people that go there as well. So I definitely recommend them. James Peterson is the name of the chiropractor. Good business. Mormon family, super nice though, and just really knowledgeable. What else? See, there's food, there's that, and yeah, really that's kind of what we do. Dalton has a hard time sleeping. It's getting a little bit better as he gets older because he can read himself to sleep. We did probably 1/4 of a milligram. What is it? Is that what melatonin comes in? Which is not great, but he's cannot go without sleep. It's been really, really a tough struggle, but he's almost 12. He weighs 120 pounds or 122 pounds. He's pointing to me 122. And he takes 1/4 of a milligram, and his dose is like 3 milligrams. So it's not much. We started with 1 milligram, and we've weaned him off as he's grown because I don't want his body to like be dependent on it, which it might be already. But I feel like that's not that much, and it helps just enough to kind of relax him. It's hard for his brain to shut off. My goal is to get him off of that too as well, but it's not much that he's on. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything, like the big things that we do. So I do recommend chiropractic work. I really recommend figuring out what it is, because kids can be so many different things. Obviously, food diet is huge. No kid should be ingesting those things. They're awful, and what they've done to behavior is terrible. We've made switches in our, cleaning and body care and all of that. I know Heather sells Beauty Counter, and but like even things like deodorant. So he has a really clean deodorant because that's stuff he's putting on his body every day, and a lot of deodorants have corn in them, and so he can't have that. There'd be maltodextrin or cornstarch or something like that. So he can't have that. So we've had to find and search for things that he can have, and just to be aware of what he's putting on his body and trying to teach him to do that. We're actually in a season right now where has sneaked some food, and once they do that, it really kind of sets him on a spiral of sneaking and kind of trying to hide things. And it's very easy to tell when he's done that because his eyes they've gotten like looks like eczema all around them, and so it's pretty easy to tell when he's done that. Plus massive behavior switches. So we really need to go back and do a cleanse and just kind of restart. It's just a tough time of the year to do that. But anyway, I wanted to send you this really quick in case I miss you, because Adam's at church tonight. We've got our Christmas program this weekend, and so he's got to be there for rehearsals. But and it could be crazy with all the kids. But if not, if you have any questions or you want to message me or anything, feel free. 100% tell you where we are, what we're doing. If there's any way I can help you apart from this, just let me know. I'm totally open.